Hey, everybody. Welcome back to KF&JF podcast. You know, we've been on the move so much. I really want to tell you guys thank you. I'm Keith, your host here with Razak. You know, we're here to do a really good show today, and we have people on our show that we can't wait for you to meet. So, you know what we're going to do? We're going to get right to it. Let's get Razak on to do his pitch, and let's move from there. So, you know what? Take the time. This is going to be great. I just can't wait. Here, let's just go. Let's just go.
This is good. Greetings. My name is Razak. I am the CEO and founder of United Minority Business Ventures. My purpose is to help small businesses grow. This means I will assist with the creative process and maintenance of your business. The method to achieve results is simply building a deeper relationship with your customers. I do this by forming opportunities to communicate and collaborate with your followers, subscribers, and other business owners. By using a wide range of networking tools, we will have an understanding for building your business profile, what type of social media marketing fits your productivity and your availability, and building your financial profile, branding your services, product, or merchandise. Together, we may also determine what type of license is needed to operate your business. And does your budget permit the ownership of your own domain or buying into pre existing sites that host your page? I like to drive traffic by managing your website. This allows me to work with you to select posts that create subscriptions, comments, and likes. I also assist by generating comments on other individual business sites or a page that create a dialogue of conversation directed towards your page. I also assist with the creation of the content on your media site. This will be a collaboration of ideas which will reflect on your brand, your work ethics, and the community's need to know what you have to offer them to bring a better quality of comfort to their lives and lifestyle. I can also assist with the writing of content, directing your videos, the editing process, and publishing them on various sites for marketing purposes, advertising, and promotional value. Thank you guys for coming on the show today.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
You know what, guys? You know, we really like to thank Razak for some of the work that he's doing out there to help some of these businesses succeed in what they're needing to do for their business, whether it's building a website, whether it's just having a conversation about how you need to, you know, make your business successful. And we really like to thank him for that. But you know how I say, enough of the formalities. Let's get right into this show. This show is ready to go. We have a couple that is here and they're ready to introduce themselves. Here they go.
My name is Jose Solano, and she is.
Yo soy Kenia Orozco.
And we are the co-owners of
MISSCHILAQUILES.
We have been, we started this almost a year ago. It's been a very, very fun, very exciting, very, how would you say, just full of surprises. Just almost a year of just nothing but up and down surprises everywhere. But it's been fun. It's been very, very grateful.
Well, you know, as business goes, especially entrepreneurs, you know, it is a roller coaster, you know, for every business that out there to trying to establish themselves and become, you know, in tune with what their services are, you know, whether they're a food truck or a brick and mortar or whatever it is. Everybody needs to take a minute to do a little assessment as to how their business are running and what they can do to make changes. So this is our discussion today, is to, one, uplift you and your business, and two, to have a discussion about business, because not everybody out there understands that, you know what, business requires, especially entrepreneurship, requires a little bit of digging in your own pocket and not getting nothing in return for a little bit. So you have to have what we call faith and believe in what you got, you know, what you got going on. So my first question for both of you guys is, how did you come up with the name, and what's unique about both of you?
So, the uniqueness of the name actually is in Spanish is a play on word, right? So mis is actually, you could interpret it in two different ways, like my chilaquiles, or mis, which would be her, she's a mis, like Miss Chilaquiles, right? And that's where we got, just trying to make it like a play on word, trying to make it catchy, something that, would be able to, somebody would be able to see it. And, where do you go? I'm going to go get my chilaquiles, right? And where do you go get them? At mis chilaquiles. So it was the inspiration behind it all, it took us some time to try to, design all this stuff all together with all the truck. But I feel like it's catching on. People are getting it. They're jumping on the wagon.
I guess my question would be, is that a pepper? I'm just kind of thinking in my mind, is it when you say chile, I'm thinking a chile pepper or something like that, or is it something else? And then if she can answer, I would love to hear her thoughts on there as well.
Ese es un juego de palabras también. Era más como presentarlo como que son mis chilaquiles, porque amo los chilaquiles, crecí comiendo chilaquiles. Entonces yo le decía a mi esposo, les quiero presentar mis chilaquiles, los de Kenia, así como yo me los como yo los conocí. Entonces de ahí salió el juego de palabras también, en inglés y en español. Mis chilaquiles y mis chilaquiles.
And so the word where you're getting from, like the chile or the chilaquiles, that's actually from our culture. We're both Mexican. We both come from right near the capital. She's closer to it than I am. So over there, it's a super addictive meal that you can have all the time, right? So we just wanted to bring our version of it, or trying to bring it over here. It's something that you can have at any time of the day, and it's very popular in Mexico. And people try to look for it, and the versions that we found, we love them, but we wanted to present our own version. We wanted to bring our own way of doing it, right? We wanted to have a crunchy way of bringing it. The tortilla with the salsas, and having it still be crunchy by the time you dig into it, and have that, bring a lot of zest to your mouth, but not enough, just enough to get you hooked on it. And it was a battle. It was a long time of trying to get the right salsa, to get it into the right way we want it, spicy but not too much, to make it so it's unique, to make it our own.
Okay.
Let me ask you about that, because I think about chili relleno or something like that. How did you incorporate or do you, I should ask, incorporate any of the American spices or tastes or sweets into any of your dishes to, or are you strictly, authentically a Mexican service business?
No, we have a special burrito. It's the California burrito, right?
Yeah.
That one has French fries. It has like asada, chipotle mayo, jalapenos. So we have both worlds, We have chilaquiles, we have French fries.
And we have guacamole in there. We have our own twist into it. We try to incorporate a little bit of it. That way we don't have just strictly
Mexican food.
Exactly. It does involve a little bit of both cultures, I think it's just, how do I say it? It brings a like our twist into it too. Like I was mentioning before, we do bring in we try to bring as much authenticity as possible into the menu, but we do incorporate a couple things like that. We have some asada fries. We have the California burrito. Just trying to bring in a little more. That way, if you're not, trying to taste it or it's too spicy for you, it might not be for you. You know, I mean, we have tacos. I mean, you know, I think everybody in the world loves tacos.
You can't go
know,
wrong with tacos.
no,
It's kind of crazy to me that you mentioned the fact that you can't go wrong with tacos, because I'm from Louisiana, right? And they like soul food and all this. And I went down there and I made tacos, and they were like, "Oh my God, what is this?" You know, I said, "Hey, you can use that ground beef a little bit better than you think." You know, and I went into the store and I was thinking, "Am I gonna be able to find taco shells?" So I shipped the taco shells on a plane with me because I wasn't sure we're gonna find taco shells there. Oh my God, way down in the south, man. They're making tacos. I was just like,
right?
it's kind of crazy.
See?
So you're right about everybody loves that dish, and it's so exciting for that. Let me ask you this, and I'm gonna pass it over to Razak, and that is regarding spices. You know, do you guys have like a level, like, you know, medium, hot, super hot, and how do you like, and where do you get those spices? Or do you guys have that as part of history, or as far as the culture base, or is it something that you guys are just trying out?
Son los ingredientes principales que usamos más que nada en la Ciudad de México. Aquí nosotros no usamos nada enlatado porque creo que es un muy buen sabor el que le da usar todo natural. Entonces, aunque sí nos tardamos un poquito más, pero aquí estamos lunes y martes pelando los tomates, chiles, usamos chile de árbol, chile serrano, chile jalapeño, lo que es el cilantro le da un sabor riquísimo a las salsas, ajo, cebolla, todos esos ingredientes que pues la mayoría de los mexicanos conocemos. Pero no, nada es enlatado, y creo que lo más básico que tenemos los mexicanos es la salsita verde. Entonces, nosotros tenemos dos sabores, dos colores de salsa. Tenemos el verde y el rojo. El verde está suavecito, es como un sabor mediano, ¿verdad? No está tan picoso, pero tiene mucho sabor. Y después tenemos el rojo. Yo preparo la salsa roja, yo pensé que picaba, pero nuestros chilaquileros con el paso del tiempo nos decían, es que a mí dame algo que me pique más. ¿Qué tan picosa está la salsa roja? Yo quiero que pique, yo quiero llorar. Entonces, pues le tuvimos que meter otros ingredientes más picosos a la salsa roja, y pues ahí está, solitos los chilaquileros ahí nos van guiando, qué es lo que no, qué es lo que quieren y qué tanto quieren que les pique. Entonces tenemos dos opciones. Tenemos la salsa verde, que está poquito picosa, y la roja, ese sí está para llorar definitivamente.
So, you know, we have our two flavors, or two, they're mild, and then there's the hot. There's a hot one. So the green one is usually the mild one. We try to tell people, if you want to try one of these two, you definitely want to go with the mild if you're not very big on having spicy food. But we do offer the second one, which is the red salsa. That one is very hot, which is, you know, our chilaquileros, or our guests is what we call our following. They tell us all the time, you know, and it's how Miss K started building that salsa, because we had already made one, and the red one was about the same as the green one, but they would come and they would say, no, I want a spicy one. I want spicy. And we started kicking it up a notch, and then it started going spicier, and they're like, no, it's not there yet. We need spicier. So we started making it more and more, you know, and then it turns out that they're, you know, the red is super spicy and people like it, you know, they love it. It's always asked for. We say, this is very spicy. They're like, really? I'm like, because I like spicy. I'm like, no, the red one is. They're like, I don't know. And then they'll come back and they'll be just, you know, they'll be with their mouths just going, that was really good. That is what I wanted. That's exactly what I wanted to get. Just like that, you know, it's to the point where it's not going to burn your mouth, but it won't stop you from eating it. And that's what we were going for.
Yeah, that sounds like something they be having out there too. Because I know I always go for the green sauce, and I'll be avoiding that red one. I like how you guys use spice instead of hot and hotter and lava.
Yeah. But everything, the way we make our stuff, I tell people the only thing that we have that's canned is our sodas.
Yeah,
That's it.
that's the only thing.
That's the only ingredients you'll find in our place that will be canned. Nothing that goes inside those salsas or any of the ingredients that go inside of our food is canned. Everything is made, you know, we spend Tuesday and Mondays peeling tomatoes, shopping, going to the stores. I go to about 4 or 5 different providers where we find all of our ingredients fresh. And so I buy, you know, by the bulk. And here we are every Monday and Tuesday, just making sure everything is fresh. You get the same quality. You know, nothing is going to be out of a can. We don't buy none of that. You know, no salsas in the big bottles, nothing like that. It's made fresh here every day. We make it fresh. And that's what we offer. That's, you know, we challenge somebody if we ever say, no, that's not fresh. But like I tell you, man, I don't know what fresh is if you don't feel like ours is. You know, we have nothing, you know, nothing to hide. It's just.
Right. You know, when you say that, let me interject real quick. It's just okay. Now, what would you say would be your favorite recipe or dish that you guys that you eat for each one of you that you like to cook the most out of everything? Like what is you guys' favorite out of all the things? Like what is the thing that you can eat that the most and say like, hey, we want to put this out? Or do you guys even have like a special dish like, hey, this is something that I personally like to eat the most? So it's more pushed out there as far as like, you know what I mean, something that people will have, or is everything just generally on the same level?
The chilaquiles, that's the main dish. I mean, we focus on that. Like I said earlier, it's just a super good dish. That's, you know, super popular from where we're from. You know, Mexico, it's just like I was mentioning before, you can have it at any time of the day. You can have it with anything. We provide separate options, different options. You can have it with a protein with either, you know, asada, pastor, or some eggs, or with both, a combination of, or, you know, maybe some shredded chicken, chorizo and eggs. We have a very, you know, various toppings that can be added to it to make it delightful for anybody. Really, it's very attractive. People will try it and they'll say, man, this is different, this is nice, I like it, you know. And that's what we like to offer people. That's our main dish, our strong point. Just try this and let me know what you think of it, and if you like it, you know, come back, we're here.
And for me, I love chilaquiles. I love to eat chilaquiles every single day. So when I'm working over there, the first thing that I eat is chilaquiles, green chilaquiles. But my secret, I always add beans, fried beans, and a little bit of lettuce and scrambled eggs. So I can eat chilaquiles every day, all day.
So our chilaquiles are our chips or tortillas. We even make those fresh too every day. We get them and we cut them up into small little triangles, and we cut them out, right? The tortillas, we cut them up, making small little triangles, and we deep fry them every day. Every day we're deep fried to make chips, and we take those chips, we soak them in the salsa, whether you like the mild green or the spicy hot.
Mhm.
And we, you know, that's how they're made. We roll them in there in the salsa, we prepare them like that, and then we put them on a plate, and we add on top sour cream, cotija cheese, onion, and cilantro.
Yeah.
So that's a basic plate. And then we offer, you know, we offer on top, like I was saying, some asada, pastor, chorizo con huevo, maybe some shredded chicken, or just some eggs or a
Cecina.
combination of.
That
Yeah.
one is something very different. Cecina, it's a little bit thin steak.
Yeah, it's seasoned in a little bit of some salt and some spices, vinegar, and different spices. But it's not salty. It's actually very tasty, very, very tasty
Very
steak.
tender.
Yes, very tender, and we can add that too. And so that's how we make the chilaquiles. It's simple, plain, but you gotta find the taste. The taste is what separates us, I believe.
Okay. Okay. So, can you tell us a memorable experience you had while working with your food truck in the food industry?
So we had a guy, or we've come to make a lot of friendships with all of our guests that come, right? And we had this gentleman come by, and he tried the chilaquiles, and I sold him on it because he came up and he said, "Hey, what is this?" I said, "Well, these are chilaquiles. They're the chips. We make them. We fry them every day to get them fresh, and when you eat them, they're crunchy." And he said, "Hey, but I know all about tortas. I'm looking for a torta." And I said, "Well, hey, check this out. I have a chilaquiles torta." And he looked at me and he was like, "What?" He's like, "What is that?" And I explained it to him. It's the chilaquiles, the chips and the salsa, and we put them inside the bread to make a torta. And it comes with a breaded chicken breast. And he looked at me and he was like, "Are you kidding?" He's like, "You make that stuff?" He's like, I don't know." I looked at him and I said, "You don't knock it until you try it, my man. I think you're going to like it." He said, "Well, I already like tortas and that's what I was coming for." So I gave it to him. I had him try it. And I said, "If you don't like that thing, I tell you what, come back, eat some of it. If you don't like it, come back and I'll make you something else. And we can go from there. I don't want you to leave and go home and say, I didn't have the right torta. I'm going to try it." And he said, "Okay." So he goes and he tries. I made it for him, and he tries it, and he comes back 5 minutes later. He comes back with a wrapper empty, and he goes, "Here is what you gave me." And I was like, "What?" I was like, "Man," I thought, my heart started pounding, and I was like, "Man, I think this guy, he doesn't like it." He threw it away and he was mad. He was like, "I didn't know there was something so delicious as this." He's like, I couldn't imagine that thing was that good." He said, "You know what?" He's like, "That's my favorite go-to burger now." He's like, "I love burgers, but this torta is just amazing." And he fell in love with it, and he goes by twice a week maybe, and he gets it all the time. He goes from between the green and the red, the spicy and the mild one, and he just changed it. He's like, "It's changed my life. It's just, I love it." He's like, I wouldn't have thought it was just like this, but it's good." And that's something that makes it fulfilling. It makes it feel good.
Yeah, that most definitely sounds like something that'll keep driving you to keep your business going. The effect that it has on your customers. I was thinking with well, I'm not going to say Chile. I can't really say it. Let me see. Was it a Miss Chilaquiles? Chilaquiles?
Chilaquiles.
Chilaquiles.
Yes, you got
Okay.
it. Now you need to
Okay.
try them.
Yeah.
Try to. Yeah. We're gonna try some. It says, how do you stay up to date with the latest food trends and techniques? And this applies to something that you guys are making fresh and doing all that stuff with the dietary restrictions and all these, food allergies, and the chemicals that they might spray on the vegetables that you may use. How do you guys, regulate that or stay up to date on that?
We try to look at all the social media. We try to look at recalls too. So everywhere we go, all of our providers and our vendors, we ask them all the time too. We say, "Hey, is there anything I need to worry about? Is there anything that should I be looking at that I already have, that I purchased? What is being put into all this stuff?" We look into all that stuff to make sure that we're not you know, we're not trying to sell something that shouldn't be out there. We have a couple of providers that will tell us, hey, last week there was a recall, but I think you're safe. Just check to see what you have to make sure you're not, you know, you didn't get something that's contaminated. Or he says, hey, this came from a provider that they have. This is from a local farmer down, you know, in this area. We try to keep up with all that stuff, you know, always. Obviously social media is a big influencer on that. They'll tell us, hey, there was a recall on this, there was a recall on that, and boom, we got to call up providers. Hey, were you part of this? Did you know about this? Were you aware of any of this? And they go, yeah, it wasn't our provider. It was over on the East Coast or wherever it might have been. We try to, you know, stay up to date all the time, definitely with that. Definitely. And whatever we do, we try to do our part too on this side, and we sanitize things. We sanitize all of our utensils. We sanitize all the equipment that we
All
have.
the veggies as well.
Exactly. All the vegetables. We sanitize them before we use them. Like our lettuce, our cilantro, especially.
Yeah, that one is very important.
So we try to sanitize and keep everything clean like that too. Make sure we're up to date with everything.
Okay. Okay. So far, you said you've been business like what, a year or more, and what would you think is the most important aspect of running a successful business so far that you've experienced? What is making you successful right now? And besides that the story of the customers, that's, you know, you're introducing something else. What is the importance of the aspects of this business for you?
Yo diría que apoyarse el uno al otro, porque cuando yo siento que ya digo, no, ¿sabes qué? No se puede algo, él es el que dice, sí, vamos a hacerlo de este modo y este modo. Entonces, él es el que me ayuda, él es el que me levanta y dice, vamos a continuar. Y pues yo creo que también del otro lado, porque han sido muchas horas las que se han invertido aquí. Es más tiempo a veces del que pensamos. A veces dices, oh, yo tengo mi propio negocio, ya me voy de vacaciones, todos pónganse a trabajar. No, nada de eso. Todo lo contrario. Es más tiempo del que uno se puede imaginar, es muy cansado, das de tu tiempo personal, familiar, sobre todo nosotros que tenemos hijas. Entonces, es difícil. Para mí, ese lado de no estar con mis hijas, sí es difícil, pero al mismo tiempo es un ejemplo para ellas, de que tenemos que trabajar y darle para poder tener algo. Y también yo creo que otra parte bien importante es la gente que nos ha apoyado muchísimo. Tenemos clientes que están ahí desde el primer día y los vemos 2, 3 veces a la semana que llegan súper contentos, emocionados de que van a comer con nosotros. Y no solo eso, sino cuando nos traen a sus familiares, nos traen a los amigos, llega gente que nos dice, oye, yo vengo porque fulanito de tal me recomendó. O cuando están hablando y que están diciendo, hey, ¿qué te llevo de comer? Es que estoy en un lugar que sabe súper buena la comida. Entonces creo que esa es una motivación súper, súper grande, el hecho de que la gente nos recomiende, que traen más gente, los comentarios que nos dejan en el Instagram,
En Google.
en Google también. Todo eso creo que es una parte muy importante para que nosotros sigamos aquí, porque obstáculos ha habido miles, ha habido muchísimos obstáculos, muchos más de los que a lo mejor del otro lado no se ve y que pasamos casi todos los días. Pero el hecho de que él me esté ayudando a mí y la gente nos esté ayudando a nosotros, creo que es como que algo que se va regresando, ¿no?
You know, we try to be as consistent as possible, to be honest with you. We try to be consistent with everything. The same way we make our salsas, the same way we greet people, the same face with everybody, like, hey, good morning, how are you, everything, just a smile. We're we can honestly say that we are very delighted to have all the guests that we have. We call them chilaquileros, right? To have all of them, you know, when they show up, they'll come in twice a week. They'll bring in different people that say, hey, we brought them because we thought that you had to try this, you know? And that's what makes it always worthwhile. Just being consistent. We're there all the time. We try to be on social media and interact with our chilaquileros. We tell them how we feel. We are very grateful with them. We are always thanking them. They're always there. And we try to, like I said, our ingredients fresh all the time, the same. They don't, the salsa does not change. We don't change the quality of our ingredients to, you know, cut any corners or anything. We're Wednesday through Sunday, we're there. We try to be in the same place all the time to make sure it's what people are going to be, you know, that what they want. That way they're not disappointed one day when they'll show up and they don't know what happened. You know, we try to announce every time, you know, whenever we have an event, we post it on social media. Hey, this day and this day, we're not going to be here. If you can, please, you know, be mindful and, you know, hopefully it doesn't, disrupt your schedule, whatever. Just maybe you come in on earlier day or we'll see you next week. You know, we try to do that. That way people can be, you know, happy when they were come by.
Right. Let's give a quick plug on the location that you're talking about that you guys are at. Let's give us a little rundown of where can they find you at while we're on the subject.
So we're on right by the 91 freeway. We are on the street, on the frontage road. It's called Diana, located right next to Target on the corner of Tyler and Diana. We are right there. We're parked right next to them. You can find it. It's been baptized, that place where we are at. It's called Food Truck Lane. We have various vendors that are there. We have mariscos, we have a birria, we have Colombian food, and you can find different, you know, vendors at that place, Food Truck Lane, Riverside Food Truck Lane.
Okay. Yeah, that's always nice to know. We gotta let them know where to come find you at. Okay, now with everything you guys was saying about the importance of a business and running, how she just explained, can you tell us about a time when you had to overcome a challenge or an obstacle in making your food your business? Like, you know, what challenges did you come up against making your food truck? You know, getting your business off the ground.
Primero que nada son los permisos, porque mucha gente piensa que estamos ahí nada más parados, así como que, ya llegamos. No, tenemos que sacar un montón de permisos con la ciudad, los taxes. Entonces, desde ahí empiezan algunos pequeños obstáculos. Los papeles, aseguranza, que el documento no lo llenaste bien, los pagos. Entonces, desde ahí empiezan los pequeños retos, que dices, bueno, ¿sigo o no sigo? Ok, ya, ves que puedes completar uno y sigue el otro, ¿no? Entonces, ese es de lo primero. Ya después, yo creo que sería ponerte en un lugar y que la gente te empiece a conocer, aguantar. Más que nada es aguantar.
Yeah.
Porque es difícil que estás tú ahí, quieres vender tu producto, tú quieres tener a lo mejor filas y filas de gente ya para que prueben la comida que llevas, pero no pasa hasta después de mucho tiempo. Y es emocionante, ¿no? Cuando llega ese primer cliente que sabes, como que aquí estamos, ya llegamos. Entonces, creo que para mí ese fue uno de los más grandes obstáculos o algo que a lo mejor sí sentí como que dije, no, ya mejor nos vamos, el principio, que te paras en un lugar, te paras en otro lugar y pues no llegan, no se acercan. Y pues sí, la verdad que sí se siente bastante feo eso. Y también el pelear por tu lugar, A lo mejor es algo que la gente no sabe, ¿verdad? Pero sí ahí en esa área donde estamos, pues fue complicado porque pues nosotros, primero estaba ahí otra persona que ya llevaba algunos años, Mikey, de Fry Fish. Él ya llevaba mucho rato ahí, ya llevaba como 2 años, me parece. Entonces, pues ya llegamos ahí nosotros a acompañar del otro lado de la banqueta. Y, y pues él tiene su clientela y ya nosotros poco a poco fuimos haciendo la nuestra. Entonces, pues yo creo que se empezó a ver que ya teníamos gente y más gente y más gente. Entonces, pues empezaron a llegar otros camiones también a acompañarnos y ahí fue donde empezó un poquito el problema, porque pues ya todo el mundo quería un espacio ahí y pues no era posible, ¿verdad? No, porque nosotros no somos dueños ni de la calle ni de la banqueta, pero sí ha sido difícil ganarnos un lugar ahí y ganarnos un lugar con la gente también.
So there was all, you know, a lot of the challenges were, you know, trying to get our product out. How do we get our clients? You know, at first it was very difficult, very, very, very hard, a very hard pill to swallow to, you know, see the very first clients and they liked it, but how do you get more? You know, those are difficulties. How do we spread the word? How do we tell people, you know? And we try to post a lot on our social media and we try to find good places or, you know, what you would consider to be a good spot, right? To have a lot of people look at your product and try to get, you know, try it. Once we ended up trying to, you know, we figured out this is our spot. This is where we like to be. This is where people can find us. You know, it turned into food truck wars. I don't know if ever seen that show, but food truck wars was kind of like that. It was there, you know, there was people that would come and they saw that that place was, it was very popular. You know, there was a lot of people, there was a lot of crowds. People started doing, you know, like picnics there. They would go and they would set up little tables and chairs and they would go and order from all the different vendors. And they had picnics, you know, it's pretty much what it was. And trying to find yourself in a place where you had to fight to be there, you know, per se was kind of difficult. You know, people were trying to over there, they were, you know, popping the tires of the car that you had to leave there to save your spot. You know, people breaking windows, popping tires, stealing the wheels out of your car. You know, I had a couple of those happen to me. You know, from our personal vehicles, you know, because we had to, like I said, fight to hold the spot there.
Amenazas de muerte también.
Right, there was a lot of different things. We had, you know, some death threats. We had, you know, like I said, vandalism. All of us, all of the vendors that were there that at one point had a vehicle left there overnight to save your spot for the next day, you know, it was vandalized, whether it was tagged, the windows were broken, you had windows slashed, the tires slashed, tires stolen from your vehicle. It was very, very difficult, you know. And then it became a point where I think all the rowdy vendors, I guess, the ones that were kind of seeing that they were being pushed away, once they left and they saw that they weren't going to be fitting in, everything kind of just slowed down, like all the vandalism kind of stopped. But that was a very big obstacle, trying to find a place where you could say, hey, I don't know if I want to be here anymore because they're vandalizing my property. I don't know if it's worth staying here anymore.
And yeah, that's definitely a big challenge right there. That's man, I ain't never heard heard a story like that before.
Yeah.
That was definitely a unique time right there. And how you guys dealt with it and stuck in there, that's also commendable. Is there some kind of I don't think I heard her say it or mention it, but what was the form? Is there any forms or something like that you have to get that piece of area or land? I mean, what is it? Is it just an empty plot of land, and you just drive up. You know, how do you get into it, or even you see what I'm saying? Like did you have to go get a permit for it or something?
So what it was really, what it is now after all that happened, I mean, it's private property, right? So it's the street. Like I said, it's the street. The street is named Diana, and it leads right straight to Target. So it's, any vendor can come by and park there, and you could sell. There's nobody restraining you from doing it. Nobody owns that area. Nobody owns that spot. There's not private property. It's the street. You have the right to be able to sell. As with all that stuff that I had mentioned before, we actually started uniting. We started we started collaborating with each other. We started forming a union, I guess we could say. So we started making what was, or what is now become, Food Truck Lane. So we filed some permits to the city, where we're going to try to make that personalized areas, right? So permitted areas where it's going to be just specifically for food trucks. For example, we're going to have it so it'd be designated spots, where it could be just Chilaquiles is going to be able to, MISSCHILAQUILES will only be able to park here. In front, we'll only be, we have a Mariscos guy. He will be the only one that is allowed to park right there and sell. Obviously, we're gonna, we're trying to get all the paperwork in. Well, we filed it, we submitted it, and we're just waiting for answers from the city. That way, we don't have to be fighting for a spot, or having to leave personal vehicles overnight to, only to have it be vandalized. So, like I said, we're just a matter of time. We're trying to get it zoned so that the city, and we're trying to show them, that we are cooperating. We're trying to show them what we can bring. Since we showed up, the transient level has gone down. The cleanliness has gone up because we keep the area clean. We help each other out, and we help the area. Target is, I believe, one of our good allies now, because they've noticed that the vandalism to their areas too is not the same. There's not so much garbage being left behind, because the transients don't want to be there. They don't want to be seen. So there's not that, that level has kind of gone down. So we're trying to make it a little, we're trying to make it easier for everybody.
Like, yeah, that's what we wanted to. Mm-hmm.
I think that a couple of things. I have a few questions, and we'll go into another area regarding the food. But when you're talking about food trucks, right? One of the things that I remember at Century City Studio, they had a food truck conference. Like, it was like 200 food trucks. Have you ever participated in that in LA at Century City Studio, where there were lobster food trucks? There were tons of food trucks on the property. And so what I've learned, and I don't know if you've been to LA or if this is part of LA, but the laws have changed a little bit around food trucks. Before, it used to be a mess. Now it's gotten a little better, where food trucks are at least able to vend their business on the streets. It's just having to run into some of those issues that you're talking about, and that is space. Everybody wants to get the right spot. Everybody has a little bit of jockling they want to do, and leaving your car there overnight creates the risk that you're talking about. Can you talk a little bit about other food trucks event that you've been in, or are you specifically trying to get a space in this spot on what you would call Food Truck Lane?
Well, we try to participate in as many events as possible. Just as soon as we see them, when they come, our friends and our families will tag us on certain events that they'll see that maybe we haven't seen online. We were just recently at the airport, at the Riverside Airport, where they had the planes and treats. So that was for Halloween. We were there. We were,
Skechers.
We try to cater to private events too, where we went to Norco and to an alternative school. So we were there and we found, separate clients too. We found some chilaquileros there that we met for the first time. A gentleman fell in love with our California burrito, and he was just all excited. And he said, "You know what? I tried everything." He asked us for a sampler plate. We didn't have one, but we said, "Hey, here, try this. Check this out." And he started trying all of our food, and he loved it. But we try to give our name out to, as far as we can. Catering for events. We have a company that we just did a little breakfast event for, try to accommodate for their guests. We try to do that. We try to talk to people, everywhere. We couldn't get into the Riverside, the what is it called? The Festival of Lights. We couldn't get into the Riverside Festival of Lights, but hopefully within the next year we can try to get our foot in, and we're going to try to get earlier in time to see if we can squeeze in there. We try to get as much as possible. We don't want to. It's a double-edged sword, really, because we want to do all that, but we also don't want to leave our spot. We don't, because like I said, we have all these faithful clients that come in here and they're like, "Hey, I wanted chilaquiles, and I know you can give me my habit." They're like, I need it. I need them. And, I know that you're going to have them. So, we try not to get out of our regular spot, I guess I would say, as often. We try to stay as much as possible.
I think about the fact that what you're talking about, one, staying where you are, and then the participation in some of the other events like this festival that you're saying you wasn't able to get into. But have you been, or have you tried to get into the International Food Festival that's also located in Riverside? Have you done that event?
It's called the food war or something like that, right? The food
No,
war.
it's the International Food Festival. It's in downtown Riverside. There's a lot of food trucks there. I was there last year, and I met a lot of people that was there, and I just thought maybe that's another event that you guys could look into. It's a little bit of a planning for that, because I think they do it twice a year, if not, and it's pretty big. They got food trucks and people all over the place, and they're doing different things. So it's called the International Food Festival that they do in the downtown Riverside. But when you're thinking about your business, can you tell the audience a little bit about what goes into licensing, into preparation for a food truck? Because you can't just go buy a food truck and park it on the street and start selling food. There is some stuff that got to go into it. And some of it is expensive. Some of it is a waiting period for you to get licensed to do that. And I know you said something about the food truck lane, which is just based on space. But what about licensing and all of those other things that you have to go through to establish your business? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Pues sí, para nosotros la espera de nuestro camión nos tomó casi 2 años. 2 años para construir, para que lo construyeran, el diseño. Y de ahí la persona que nos ayudó, Juan, él nos fue guiando poco a poco a través de los permisos. Él nos dijo, ¿sabes qué? Ahora vete a la ciudad, tienes que sacar tu permiso allá. Y la verdad que ahí mismo te van guiando, porque nosotros empezamos así, con los ojos cerrados, no sabíamos absolutamente nada, no tenemos ningún tipo de experiencia en esto, no tenemos ni familiares ni nada que tengan food trucks o algo así, entonces nosotros así nos metimos. Nos fuimos a la ciudad, empezamos con los permisos ahí. La verdad que la gente ahí es muy amable. A nosotros nos ayudaron súper bien. Ellos mismos te van diciendo, ok, para que yo te pueda dar tu permiso, me tienes que traer esto, esto y esto. Ah, ok, pues entonces te empiezas a mover, vas consiguiendo ese tipo de documentos pero yo creo que la misma gente te va guiando, porque si te falta un papel, pues no te dan tu permiso. Entonces ellos mismos te van diciendo, ahora tráeme esto, tráeme el otro. Cuando vas a la aseguranza, ellos mismos ya conocen el tema y te dicen, ok, vas a abrir tu food truck, pues necesitas este permiso, necesitas este otro. Entonces, todo es así como que un circulito y no puedes lograr un permiso sin que no te den la otra cosa. Pero sí, para nosotros la espera del camión fue casi de 2 años. Estábamos ya muy, muy ansiosos por empezar y compartir los chilaquiles, pero sí, definitivamente necesitas permisos de la ciudad, necesitas tus taxes, necesitas un permiso del Health Department, necesitas, ¿qué más necesitas? Aseguranzas que son bien importantes, tanto para tu camión como para el personal que trabaja ahí, como para los mismos clientes también. Necesitas tus certificados de comida.
De comida, de manejo de comida.
Manejo de comida, los exámenes también que tienes que pasar. Entonces, sí son varios papeles que necesitas llenar antes de tener un camión así.
And then on top of that too, there's all these things that, that come into it. Like you have to get, the health department is always involved in it. They will have an inspection. You'll have it, once a year, but the health department, they could come by at any time and just look at your vehicle and just go inside and say, hey, look at this. We were at, like I said, on our event when we went to our planes and treats, the health department was there and they were checking out everything that we had. They said, hey, this is good. You guys got to move this. Like this cannot be right here. This has to go over there. They were very cool about it. They were very nice. We were there, the health department, that's always something that's very big and it's very important. You have to be very, very aware of what you're doing, especially when it's, dealing with food, and it can be very complicated at times because, you could say, hey, just this little minimal thing and, it'll be okay. Everything has to be very on point. Our fridges, we always make sure they have to be
the right
temperature. Always. Everything has to be at the right temperature. Everything has to be within those standards. And like I said, the health department checks that, and it can be a little bit of a hassle, but if you do everything halfway, then that's gonna give you a lot of heartaches. But we try to focus on that to make sure all of our permits are up to date, everything is proper, everything is good. That way, the health department, they all come by, they would come by over at Food Truck Lane 2-3 times a week, and they knew, hey, this guy has a permit. Oh, when it was people would come by and they said, you don't have a permit, they would make them leave. And they would come up to us and look inside, walk inside the truck and check all the temperatures, say, everybody stop what you're doing. We're doing an inspection. And then we had to just stop and say, hey, I can't sell you anything right now. We're going to have an inspection. And they would walk through it. And, we try to abide by all the rules.
I think that's an important statement to be made, because you have to remember part of the KF&JF podcast is about knowledge, right? We want to give out to the audience things that will help them not to make the same mistakes. And one of the things about your, the inspections and all of that, and the licensing is a very, very important part. Let me ask you about, what do you do with, you go to an event, right? You got all this food you didn't prep the night before. You done made all this salsa, which I want to ask about fish tacos, because that was my note, because I love fish tacos. I want to know about that. But just the fact that you did all of that, you're out there, you have your guests that are coming to eat your food, and then you realize, man, we got a lot of leftovers here. We got a lot of extra food. How do you have a place you go to give out food? Do you have a place of people that, you got to get rid of it. You can't just keep it and use it for the next time you're out. What are you doing to help with the community and those type of things when you're running across the fact that you have extras?
So usually, when we go out to events, we try to plan as best as possible to make sure we don't have an excess amount of food. But when we do, we usually say, hey, we came up with this number of guests, and we say now we have
Give it to you.
we have maybe 10 or 15 extra plates. We say we would love for you to have them, hand them out, or maybe do a second call, have somebody or offer, tell people come back again. That way we don't have any of that leftover stuff. We usually try to do for our employees too. Whatever we have, we try to say, hey, today we went to an event and we had all this stuff left over. I know you have your kids and your husband or your wife. Here, have some too. You take it home. And whatever might be that situation there. But we try to keep it, we try to plan as precisely as possible. Like I said, sometimes it can be a little difficult, but we try to do that. And usually whenever when we try to come up and on any given day, and we have somebody that we can tell that's struggling to have a meal, we ask them if they, they'll come up and ask if they want some food, if they can have some food. And we usually just, we don't charge. We don't offer it. We don't like put it out there, but we do help people out. They'll come up here. We have a couple of people that'll come by every now and then, and they'll say, hey, I remember last time you helped me out with a couple tacos. Would you mind doing that again? We don't mind that. We don't mind offering a meal to anybody who's struggling or having a hard time. We have, like I said, a couple people that'll stop by. Sometimes they'll say, hey, I didn't get paid today. Do you mind if I can get something to eat? And I'll come back and I'll pay you next week. We've had that happen before. And it's usually one of those, like, I get it. You whatever it is that you're going through, here, if we can help you out for today, for right now, maybe for this moment, I don't know what's going on. We're not going to ask any questions. We usually try not to do that because you gotta be human. At the end of the day, you gotta respect whatever is going on. We just say, yeah, here, take it. Don't worry about it. We're not going to go hunt you down, and we're not going to try to charge you for it. We try to help out. We try to do as best as we can with that.
I think that's awesome, man, because that's
cool.
when you're dealing with food, you know you're gonna run across people, even though you're gonna take a loss for whatever it is. But God works in mysterious ways, man. You never know who you're helping and how it comes back, 3 times over, 5 times over. So I like to ask you this question. Then we're gonna try to get into some of the food. Is not everybody rise. When you open a business up, everybody's like, your family, your friend. Oh, you started this business. Oh my God, man! You know what? I don't want to. I'm glad you started. And, can you help me out? I gotta cut up a lot of, chop up a lot of carne asada, some onions and stuff. Can you come over, homie? And we're gonna do this. We have a couple of beers. Help me out. Oh man, the game's on. You know what I mean? Or the fight's getting ready to start. Tell me about your experience with not having people like ride with you. Sometimes they just look at you go out there and do your job, and your wife and you guys are doing and working hard, and they just looking at you from a distance and saying, well, I'm not going out there and sit out there all day and sell that. So you have staff, but have you lost friends? Have you gained friends? Have you had to tell people, you know what, I can't deal with you because my business and me and my wife or what we're trying to do is more important than me having to deal with your negativity?
Mm-hmm.
Creo que desde mi punto de vista, hasta ahorita, no me gustaría decir que no, pero toda la gente que se ha acercado con nosotros, nuestros vecinos aquí alrededor, nos han apoyado mucho. Nuestras familias también nos han apoyado. hay una parte que sí, sí a lo mejor nos ha tocado, que es cuando abres tu negocio y te dicen que, pues todo el mundo a lo mejor quiere trabajar ahí, ¿no? O que dicen, hey, oh no, pues llévate a mi hijo, llévate a mi hermano, llévate a mi primo, pero no puedes darles trabajo porque no tienes de dónde sacar para pagarles. Sí tienes un negocio, pero no hay como para pagarle a alguien más porque tú todavía ni siquiera tienes algo de regreso, ¿verdad? Entonces, por ese lado creo que sí es un poco complicado a veces de entender, ¿verdad? De que tienes el negocio, pero pues todavía no puedes ofrecer así como que empleo a todos tus conocidos, todos tus amigos. Eso creo que sería la única parte difícil, pero de ahí en fuera hemos tenido mucho apoyo por parte de nuestras familias, por parte de nuestros vecinos también, a algunos amigos de mis hijas. Entonces, creo que por el momento no se nos ha dado, todo lo contrario, hemos tenido apoyo de gente que ni siquiera conocíamos, que ahora ya son también parte de la comunidad de chilaquiles. Em, Como le digo, todos aquí alrededor, vecinos que no conocíamos también, que han ido y que nos han apoyado. Pues yo creo que por nuestra parte creo que no ha sido tanto. Cuando van, a veces le digo, no, ¿sabes qué? Pues nomás dame algún costo de la comida. Me dice, no, es que si yo estoy aquí es para apoyar tu negocio. Así que cóbrame completo, cóbrame lo que es. O cuando a veces tratamos de apoyar a alguien, le decimos, no, pues así está bien, no hay ningún problema. La gente misma, pues a veces nos deja ahí un tip o algo, pero la verdad que siempre es algo como que está de regreso. Nosotros no lo hacemos con intención como de dañar a alguien, sino todo lo contrario, ¿no? Si lo necesitan, ahí está. Y es sincero, es honesto y creo que eso también ha sido de regreso. Lo que damos es sin esperar nada a cambio, pero la misma vida y la gente pues nos da así como que de regreso sin querer y es muy padre. Entonces creo que por ese lado no hemos tenido problema, excepto por que dicen, no, pues tienes negocio, ok, dame trabajo y así, ¿no? Pero es que todavía no podemos, estamos empezando.
So I think I think we've what you were saying it's a good question because I think we've gained more than we've lost. To be honest with you, we've gained a lot more friends. We've gained a lot more people that support us. We've gained a lot more people that got to know us or we get to know them. More chilaquileros that will come by and they'll say, hey, we made this here, thank you guys. They'll bring us something. We'll say, hey, I know you guys are always also busy because we understand your business. We understand how this is taking up all your time. This is taking everything from you. And they'll come by and they'll bring us a little cake. They'll bring us a slice of something. They'll bring us stuff. And that's something that we've gotten and that we cherish. We cherish a lot. Just learning to meet and just interact with our customers. Our customer base, I think, is the best. Like we've had to talk to them about personal things where we hang out from time to time with them, but it's very little because we pretty much don't have any time because we're here. But we do. Losing somebody, our neighbors from here, they support us. They'll come up to us and they'll say, hey, I'm your neighbor from down the street on this house around the corner that lives right over there. And I'm like, what? They're like, yeah, we live over there. I'm like, oh, I know where that is. They're like, yeah, we're here to support you because we see that you're starting your own business. We've gained a lot of people. We talk to people like that, and it's just been a blessing. That has been awesome.
They haven't taken advantage of our business or anything like that. No.
Okay.
The important part of what you're saying is that having faith in your business and people having faith in you is an important part about moving forward with a business. So because it's your dream, not everybody else's dream. And once you get the chance to have your dream fulfilled in the way that you're working, It's an awesome, awesome, awesome feeling when other people participate in it. So you know what, guys? We're gonna come right back and take a look at this delicious food that they're making. So we'll be right back. Wait, your lips are getting ready to burn. We'll be right back. All right.
Okay, give us an all right, so each one we go to, give us like an origin story, like where is it from? We know you guys said you tried to do traditionally, Mexican food or whatnot, or I mean, give us a little background on this dish, how you're making it, what inspired it, where did you even get the idea of making it?
Bueno, este platillo es muy tradicional en lo que es la Ciudad de México. Son chilaquiles verdes con crema mexicana muy rica, y también le agregamos lo que es queso cotija, ese quesito de ahí que también les da un sabor único, y luego le agregamos cebolla y cilantro, porque el cilantro también le da muchísimo sabor, y encima de eso le puede agregar carne asada, pastor, pero específicamente tiene carne asada que nosotros marinamos, y también le pueden agregar lo que es huevito estrellado, que también le da muchísimo sabor y lo hace un platillo completamente mexicano.
Cuando se rompe la yema, cuando la yema le picas con el tenedor y se va y se corre por todos los chilaquiles.
Tacos de asada también tenemos, que se tienen que acompañar de una buena coquita, claro que sí, bien fría. Y tenemos tacos de asada, de pastor, tacos de chorizo y de cecina, llevan cebolla y cilantro también.
Y eso lo estamos cocinando mientras ustedes lo ordenan. Está hecho todo al momento que se ordena. Ponemos también la tortilla ahí, y para que se baje bien bonito, una coca bien fría.
Ese es un pambazo estilo Ciudad de México. Definitivamente la salsa con el que lo hacemos es la original. Viene relleno de papa con chorizo, crema, queso cotija y lechuguita que no puede faltar. Y el pambazo sale bien doradito y bien calientito.
Lo echamos a freír ahí en el sartén, dándole vueltas, tomándonos el tiempo necesario para que salga crujientito y que tenga ese sabor único.
Único de la Ciudad de México.
These Tostitos or something like that?
We have enchiladas. Those are enchiladas. Those are really good too. So, esas son enchiladas, salsa verde, le ponemos crema, tenemos lechuga, tenemos un poquito más de crema, le ponemos queso cotija, cebolla y su toque de cilantro.
Y las enchiladas vienen hechas de pollo deshebrado. Ese lo hacemos, lo marinamos nosotros, está preparado, y ya lo ponemos adentro de las enchiladas. Cuando se enrollan bien bonita, la tortilla bien calientita, y le agregamos los ingredientes.
All right, give us a quick little okay, now the style that your truck is in, like, what I mean, how did the design of it, how did you come about getting the resources to get this done, and who came up with the idea with it, and see if we can't do that in the English and Spanish versions of it, of what is required for you guys to make your truck look this way.
La persona que nos ayudó a hacer el camión fue la persona que nos dirigió con la otra persona que me ayudó a hacer el diseño. La idea que yo le di es que le dije, se le tiene que antojar a la gente nada más de ver las fotos. Esa fue la primera, la idea principal que tuve. Entonces yo le dije, quiero que cuando la gente vaya manejando, que se pare atrás del camión, que vea las fotos y que diga, a mí se me antojan unos chilaquiles, a mí se me antoja un pambazo, unos tacos dorados. Entonces nos pusimos a cocinar, le sacamos fotografías reales a la comida, y ya un diseñador gráfico nos ayudó a acomodar todo, pero yo realmente diseñé lo que fue el huevito con el sombrero y ya aquí mi esposo me ayudó con los colores del camión. Entonces también le dije, queremos algo diferente, ¿verdad? Unos colores que sean brillantes, que sean fuertes, que sea llamativa, pero que se les antoje nomás de verla.
Just working, man. We worked a lot. Working overtime, working extra hours, trying to get all the resources as possible to try to get the truck, try to get everything going, putting aside money, not maybe going on vacation this year or next year, trying to make this happen. We're very visual, I myself am very visual, and she more than I, really, where what she mentioned is having it be so catchy that as soon as you see something, you're going to say, man, that looks really good. I want to try that. That is something that I feel like I want to eat. Making the design of the truck, have it stand out, having to be like, you see that sucker from a mile away and say, I know what's coming down that road. I've seen that truck before, and I know the pictures that are on there are exactly the way that I'm going to get my food. And that was the plan behind the idea, behind the design of it, to say, hey, you're going to get this. It's just like the picture. There's no gimmicks behind it. We want to make everybody turn their heads and say, yeah, that looks good. That's where I want to go.
What kind of truck is that? Is it and what
It's
came with it? Did you have
Econoline.
it in? Is it what?
So it's a Ford Econoline. So we were actually, when we were looking for it, we started looking into the business of trying to find a truck, where we found one that was actually, before we gutted it. It was gutted it, and it was turned into a food truck. It was actually a FedEx truck before. So that was its origins, and then we ended up purchasing it and turning it into the Chilaquil Móvil. Wednesday and Thursday, we're there from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. And then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we're there from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m.
All right, what are you guys making right here?
So that's the chilaquiles. That's how we make them. We make them right there, put them in the salsa. We throw them into our containers, our plates, and then we start to decorate them with a sour cream, cotija cheese, onion, cilantro, and on top, that one has asada. And you can ask them for, like I said, with the eggs, you want to have them over easy, over medium, scrambled eggs, and that's our popular plate. That is the most popular one, the asada and the over medium eggs.
I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be there Wednesday for sure, because I want that.
Yeah, that's the most popular plate, my man.
Okay, let's go to this right here. I like the look.
Esos son los chilaquiles divorciados. Esos también son bien populares cuando quieren probar de los dos sabores, de las dos salsas. Le ponemos queso, crema, cebolla, cilantro, y ese le agregamos huevito revuelto, para que así puedan probar la salsa que pica y la que no pica tanto también.
Okay, what about this right here? Because the stuff looks pretty good, man. I mean, this is the other one is just a little bit more how you make.
Ok, es pambazo, le agregamos chorizo con papas, lechuga, crema y queso cotija.
Man, I heard that. Okay, so and when you're making each, so you're saying these are specifically Hispanic dishes?
Yeah, that's from the Mexico City. You need to know the recipe for the salsa.
Oh, I heard that. That's definitely a skill when you're saying that you have authentic Mexican food, is to make it taste like it is down there.
Yeah, it's really hard, but I think we almost got it.
Well, which one is this one?
That's a torta de chilaquiles. So that one has got the beans, We put the bread on the grill. We make it nice and toasty. We heat it up. We warm it up and make it nice and toasty. Then we add the beans, the chilaquiles. That one has the red salsa on it. And then we have a
with
breaded chicken breast that goes
inside.
underneath it.
We are
And we just
fried
pile on the
beans,
chilaquiles with some sour cream, cotija
and
cheese,
this
onion, and
customer, he
cilantro.
wanted
And
asada.
sometimes when you want to get,
So
just
we
make
add
it
sour cream,
overboard,
cotija cheese, onion,
you
and cilantro.
crack open, you
And
put
that's
over
asada.
an over medium egg on
Asada
top
is
of
really
that.
good.
Man,
You guys need to try it.
that's a life changer right there.
Man. Yeah, this
Yeah.
is a little cool.
So we have a torta de asada with mozzarella cheese, mayonnaise that we burn on the grill or bread. We put the mayo on it and we throw it upside down. That way it burns on the grill and it gives it a little different taste to it. And then we add the asada, the lettuce, avocado, onion, jalapeno, sour cream, and tomatoes. And then that gentleman wanted to get, kick it up a notch, and he added some sunny side up eggs. That way, when you bite into it and you have that yolk running, man.
Yeah, everything looked good except for the onions.
This off of Taylor Street? It's off of Taylor Street?
Tyler Street.
Tyler. Okay, cool. Okay, just checking.
Yeah, we might have to pull up.
How should I ask that?
So, how do you feel about having employees that are representing your business and have to make it the way you guys make it, or are you guys the only ones that actually grill and season the food?
So that one's, it's definitely a new feeling, right? Because it's, having to having somebody represent everything that you're going to have, having somebody say, hey, we're here and this is our food, this is what we like, this is the finished product that we want to have everybody see, right? And we need it to be consistent, and pushing somebody to give that same result all the time is definitely a new experience. Some people would just say, hey, so what if it turns out like this? It doesn't matter. But trying to tell people, no, it does matter. Everything does matter. Attention to detail does matter. Trying to have people say, hey, I need you to pay attention to this. I need you to help me out with this, because at the long run, is the more people we have, the longer you have a job. Because if I don't have any people here and I can't feed anybody, then that means that you don't have a job. I don't have a need for you. And portraying that and trying to have somebody understand that and trying to make that connection to, to them, makes it a little better for them to, motivate them a little more. Say, okay, well, the better I have, the more effort I put into it, then, people will get to know this product and they'll come back again. So that's the process of making a pambazo. So the bread, the one that comes with chorizo and potatoes, that's how we make the bread so it's crispy. We take it and we dip it in a guajillo sauce, and then we fry it on that pan to make sure we take away the sogginess of it, and we give it a little crunch to it, and the burn of it makes it taste a little different. It's what makes it taste better. And we add in the chorizo with potatoes, beans, lettuce, sour cream, and cotija cheese.
Okay, now we know what kind of music to put on there. Yeah.
And we fed like
5 in the morning.
People. Yeah.
And that was like a charity event, or
no, it was Skechers had their annual health and welfare fair, and they were providing their employees like all their benefits and all the stuff that they were going to do. And so they hired us. They hired, I think, a total of like 6 other vendors to provide food for all their employees while they were doing all their benefits throughout the day. So we were there from 8 a.m. to 10. There was another vendor that was there from 10 a.m. to 12, I believe. another one from like 1 to 3, another one from like 3 to 5, and I think one more from like 5 to 7, something like that.
Hmm.
But we were the very first ones, and we had to get there at 5 because we had to prepare everything. It takes like trying to heat up all the salsas and stuff and get all of our food prepared, because we were told we had to feed pretty much 100 people within about an hour. So we had to get everything as ready as possible, without any setbacks, and feed everybody as quickly as possible, in and out, in and out.
We have only 30 minutes to eat.
Yeah.
Business. That's good. Man, how does it feel, or how does it how do you guys acquire contracts like that? You know what I mean? Where a business will call you guys. Was it through mutual friends, or what was it through just an application? How do you guys achieve things of that nature?
Word of mouth. We try to have people that recommend us, that we tell them, hey, we give them business cards. We say, this is our business card. Talk to your company if they ever have an event like that for you guys, and you guys feel like we might be a good option for you guys to have us. And they say, we get recommended. They say, hey, I threw your business card out. Our boss always asks for a new food, different food, something that might be a little better for the company, something that might be that everybody might enjoy. And so people will say, hey, next week we're going to have this. I'll give this to my boss. And they, there's something that say, we didn't have it, but they know we check them out. We tell them that you're good. We come here and we eat with you guys, and we take your company, our business cards, and we give them out. They give them to their boss, to HR, to their different, whoever is responsible for that kind of situation. Kenya's aunt, she works at Skechers, and so she had been giving us, she's a family member that's been she was very supporting from the very beginning. They were there from our very, very start. They were supportive. They would go, and they would be there and always be helping out, trying to tell us, hey, you guys got it, supportive, and giving us whether advice, trying to uplift us. And she was always said, hey, I love your food. I really do. I mean, I can't say that there's anything bad about it. And she said, I will always give this to, I will, whenever they ask us at the company if we have anybody that we might like, or another company that might be able to cater for us.
And a couple trays of food.
Yeah. So she asked us, she said, hey, just as a sampler, I threw your card in there. And just as a sampler, why don't you give me a couple of pambazos? Give me some sample trays that I can, kind of bribe them with. And so she did. We gave her some. And next thing you know, the vice president of operations calls us up, and he says that he wants to try our food because he wants us to cater for the what did I call it? The welfare fair, the benefits that they were doing for their company. So when they were doing that, that's when he came by and he tried all of our food.
You ready to go? Welcome back, everybody, man. Kenya and Jose has got some food look, if you guys are out there and you did not see what I just saw, there's something wrong with you, because the food looks amazing. It's all authentic. It's just you just can't believe the work that goes into just making this food. And I'm just, I'm ready to drive on down to, to the, what do you call it?
Food truck lane.
That's what I wanted to hear. Food truck land. And I'm going to go right on down there. And I'm not looking for any other food truck. I'm looking for their food truck. So If you guys haven't seen it, get on down there, the food truck lane in Riverside, and get your dish. If I don't beat you there first, they may be out of food just because I intend to try everything. And they got to have enough carne asada for me. All right, guys, get back into this show. And I'd like to ask you, how do you, your vendors, you got suppliers, you got the meat supplier, you got all of these suppliers out there. What's the relationship with them? And then how do you, is it credit based, or are you just going out there buying from Ralph's? I hope not.
No. Tenemos nuestros distribuidores que buscamos muy cautelosamente, especialmente la carne. La carne no la compramos en cualquier lugar. Esa tenemos que ir hasta otra ciudad, básicamente aquí, Anaheim. Desde allá nos traen la carne porque es carne muy especial. Definitivamente esa carne asada no la van a encontrar en cualquier lugar y el marinado tampoco. Entonces todos nuestros ingredientes tenemos que ir a veces desde un extremo hasta el otro para pues tener la calidad de comida que queremos.
And we try to, our our relationship with our vendors has to be very sincere, very upfront, and very straightforward. We tell them, if you cannot bring me what I feel is going to be a good product, then don't bring it to me. It all goes hand in hand with me telling them, do you feel like you're going to eat it? Then I don't want it. If you're not going to eat it, I don't want it. I don't want that cheap stuff. I don't want you to give me all that stuff that you couldn't sell for, to all your other vendors. I want you to give me quality stuff because I want to give my customers quality stuff. And we tell all of them, the ones that we go to, all of our meat vendors, like I said, we've had to meticulously pick that because it was just something that made it good. We tried it with other vendors and we said, no, the meat is just not right. Maybe it's the texture. Maybe it's just the way it looks. And we just said no. And we had to pick and choose and change vendors and change vendors again. And finally, we ended up where we're at right now.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a big thing, man. Those vendors, you get a cut, your carne asada ain't cut right. It won't be as tender as you want it to be, So having a good vendor is good. So I'm gonna pass it over to Razak, who has some questions for you right now.
Okay, I was wondering, as we was looking at all the they delicious, they did look pretty appetizing, pretty makes I mean, this is like you said, once you look at a lot of times when we be looking at this style, we just be wanting, too bad. Like, I mean, do you guys order? I mean, I know you guys don't probably deliver or something, but you look into that, just delivering, something like that, or call ahead or something. I could make an order ahead and just come pick it up.
He ain't delivering 5 tacos for you, man. He ain't delivering 5 roll tacos and one carne asada burrito. 100.
Oh yeah, probably. You're probably gonna need a quantity on there. Oh, 5 or 6 people we deliver.
Yeah.
Okay, so my okay. As I was looking at all that stuff, how do you approach creating a menu that balances both a familiar, authentic Mexican food, and maybe do you guys incorporate your own creations also?
Bueno, básicamente aquí es el mundo de los dos, porque primero que nada yo siempre les decía, necesito un buen lugar donde vendan los chilaquiles, así como yo los conozco de la Ciudad de México. Entonces, esa es una de las principales razones por las que vendemos chilaquiles. Y después no vas a encontrar, en ningún otro lugar vas a encontrar ni torta de chilaquiles, ni pambazos. Entonces, eso es parte de nuestra cultura, de algo que nos trajimos como que de la Ciudad de México. Y después él, mientras trabajaba, ahí me platicó del famoso California burrito y de las asada fries. Entonces, así es como incorporamos nuestro menú. Tenemos las cosas que más nos gustan comer a nosotros, como son las quesadillas fritas, los tacos dorados, los pambazos, los chilaquiles. Bueno, todo lo que está ahí es básicamente nuestras comidas favoritas. Y pues pensando también en un poco parte de la cultura aquí, incorporamos lo que son el California burrito y las asada fries, los típicos burritos también de asada y de pastor. Y pues las aguas frescas, que también es muy importante mencionar que son hechas en casa, todos los días, todos los días. Y algo que también es muy popular y muy importante de que nos trajimos de allá de México es el café de olla. Es algo delicioso, de verdad que sí. Nada que el polvo que ya viene hecho, no. Nosotros hacemos el cafecito de olla todos los días.
Okay.
I was thinking you were going to say something, my friend. I was hoping that you were like, what was all that she said that it was so good?
She said it, everything. I mean, she really just kind of hit the nail on the head, you know, on everything. We make everything fresh, like we incorporate different things that I like it pretty much is our favorite foods. Our favorite foods. The pambazos, she makes them just super good. They're just super delicious. We try to make it as authentic as possible to the flavors that are down there. I love like burritos. Who doesn't love a good burrito, right? So we have our carne asada burritos, our pastor burritos that are really good. They're very flavorful. Everybody knows about that. Our California burrito, it has the French fries, it has the guac in there. I mean, I've known very few people that are just like, no, I don't like guacamole. I mean, everybody likes guacamole. And you put that in a burrito with fries and the carne asada. It just makes for a really good, blend of everything. You try to bring a little more into a culture up here too, try to get some of that going. And it's
floating with flavors.
Yeah,
there is something for everybody. If you don't like chilaquiles, you can have tacos or the asada fries, or tortas. And also we have a kids menu as well.
Okay.
Yeah, we have chicken nuggets in there too, or just a quesadilla or quesadilla with the French fries. We offer that too for the kids. That way you can bring on the kids too, man. Have yourself some red, spicy chilaquiles. Maybe, we tell them too. A lot of the times we tell our chilaquileros, when you are hungover and you need to wake up and get going, you get the red chilaquiles that are spicy to wake you up. And then you add some café de olla in there that's freshly brewed, the coffee that's freshly brewed coffee, and it'll wake you up for sure.
Okay. So now see those are some other things we wouldn't have got to if we wouldn't have asked certain questions. I mean, you got we're trying to learn it all, man. Tell us all of it.
There's a lot of drinkers out there, man. They're drinking that tequila and everything, and they don't know what to do. They're like, oh, what am I gonna eat? I don't know, man. You better get this hot sauce to wake you up to get you what you need. It's kind of amazing, that part. I have one little spot, Rizak, I want to ask, because when I was in my younger days, they used to make pat the tortillas out, and make the rolled tacos. They used to put a little rice in the ground beef, taco, and it would smell so good. Just the tortilla, just the tortilla being made, I would be hanging by the window sniffing the tortillas. So you guys make your tortillas fresh too, just off the side?
No, we don't make those. We don't make them by hand. We do have a provider that already has them for us, but we do make what you were mentioned today, the rice. We make the Spanish rice every day. We make that fresh, and it's our or Kenya's recipe, and it's really good. It's delicious. She makes some really, really good rice. Very delicious rice. And we add that in our burritos.
that you mentioned it to her, that she makes it, man. See how she looked at you? It was like, yeah, I do that.
I can't take any credit for it, man. I really can't. I tell her all the time. I go, hey, you know what it was? I tell her too. It was roughly before everything started getting, put together and everything started being made step by step. I probably had chilaquiles, enchiladas, and just anything with green salsa for like 9 months straight, my man.
Yeah.
Whereas every day I came home and she was like, look, I made a different version of the green salsa. Check it out. I made you some enchiladas. I was like, okay, good. And then I would come home the next day and it was, I made a different version of the green salsa. Check this out. Now you got, sopes or, just different things. And it was just a variation, just trying to get to the actual recipe of what it is today. It was a while of eating green salsa and different variations of it for like 9 or 10 months.
And the end product was money.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me ask you guys this. Okay, now when you guys are building your business and you're thinking of the longevity of your business, when we talk about family and incorporating family and who's behind you and who's supporting you and the new people that you're meeting, and what do you guys what are both of you thoughts on legacy, as far as like what are you going to leave behind or pass along, or is there a next evolution step in the truck business where you're passing along? This is just something you're doing for now. Is this something you're going to pass on to others, or what is the end goal for I shouldn't say the end goal, so I should say the goal in mind, as far as getting to are you guys looking for a brick and mortar? Is there something other people involved in the family, kids in mind, or brothers, sisters, who do you see carrying on the torch, if that applies to you, as far as your legacy is concerned?
Es una pregunta un poco, no sé, complicada ahorita porque apenas estamos empezando. Tenemos mucho camino por delante, mucho más por aprender todavía. Pero sí, en algún momento lo hemos platicado. Ese es un proyecto de nosotros dos. También tenemos familia que nos ayuda en este proyecto, como mi mamá, y a veces hasta mi abuelita, que tiene 85 años, aquí nos ayuda a cortar tortillas. Pero definitivamente es un proyecto que es de nosotros dos. Si a lo mejor nuestras hijas en algún futuro quieren envolverse en esto, son más que bienvenidas. Pero bueno, ellas ya decidirán si ellas quieren continuar con esto, pero por el momento, pues nada más somos nosotros dos.
We do eventually, I think we want to. We talk about it a lot. We look for it at times and we dig into it a little bit and to try to open a brick and mortar, but it's not the right time, I would think, only because we don't, sometimes we'll reach out to certain companies about areas where or about a place where we can try to open up a brick and mortar, but we don't get a callback. So we push and we push, but they never answer, or it's just not, and we go, maybe it's not that time. We want to, that might be the ultimate goal too, to be able to have, hey, our kids, this is the legacy that we want to leave, and maybe have our kids reach it or continue on with it. Have the brick and mortar and the food truck running at the same time, and have our kids involved in it as well, and have them carry it on as we move on from that and leave it for them. But definitely in the meantime, show them the hard work that it is, the long hours, the super long hours, the waking up early and going to sleep late, the trying to figure out what to do next, the stress that comes from it, trying to deal with an employee here, an employee there, trying to find something to be able to keep the employees happy as well, right? And it's definitely something that we want to show them and they can be aware of. Teach them that, to strive, to keep pushing forward and try to make it worthwhile and try to keep it going. That's something that we do definitely want to portray to them as well.
Right. Now, now I guess I should ask this first, but in the building of your business, and with your future projections for your business, and knowing that you had to work for somebody else, and to accumulate money and funds to even finance making your business, what would you say a life lesson that you learned in having a business would be? And this can go as far as building it, getting the name of it, creating the food or with dishes, just in general, a life lesson that you learned so far, and this is for both of you during the business and in life general.
So I think one of the things is just work hard for it, just work hard, just work hard for it. That's something that just came, very, very clear since the very beginning. Working for somebody, it was always something that I was taught when I was little by my dad, by my mom. Just work hard, work your butt off, and then good things will happen. And that's what we did together, right? Working together, me and her, those long hours, those long extra days, those days where we didn't want to go to work, where I didn't want to get up either, very hard work doing construction. It was just, I didn't want to get up, but having to go and persevere, pushing each other, trying to say, hey, this is going to happen. Where it took, a year, a little over than a year and a half to finally get the truck in our hands for when we first started. From when we said, hey, this is where we have the truck, we bought it, to finally being able to drive it and say, hey, this is what came to be after going to look for the permits and saying, no, you got rejected because you need this. No, now you need this. So now you need this other paper. Now you need this other things. Like, it's definitely something that makes you say, okay, we got to push harder. We got to keep going. We can't give up now. It's just this much closer to being where we're at now. And it's just something that's been, that's teaching us, just keep going and you'll be able to reach, further than you thought you could go.
Kendra?
Oh, well, I would like to say that it's not easy at all. The first day, it was a chaos. I remember that day. Trust me. I was crying all night because I couldn't get the orders like fast, like I thought, like I had in my mind. Ese día fue, me acuerdo que para mi primer orden, nos tardamos más de 1 hora en sacar un pambazo, me pidieron chilaquiles y me tardé muchísimo tiempo a comparación de ahorita. Pero todo eso nos va enseñando cómo manejar un negocio, cómo manejar el camión, el equipo que tenemos adentro. Entonces yo diría que es poco a poco como tú vas construyendo pues tu negocio.
Okay. Okay, now we just went through that. Okay, and thank you guys for your input and your thoughts on that subject. But okay, so given the time that you guys was having your business right now, is there a time where you can think of a funny time in when you guys were cooking, and it just makes you laugh to remember it, and that you can share with us something, something good that happened. It could have been an accident that you laughed about, or it could just be a customer. Is there a story that you guys can always share? That makes you guys laugh, that we can put out there for us, our customers.
Yeah, just that. Just, I mean, like what she had just mentioned, just things that we look back at now from the very beginning, like where we were just, me and her, just sitting in the food truck, just waiting, just saying, hey, everybody. I would go outside and I would say, hey, we got delicious food over here. All you guys have to do is just come out and try. And I would be sitting there and I would just dance outside, and it would be like nobody there. Nobody would show up. Like what she was mentioning, the very first day, they were just super, super chaotic for us. It took us over an hour to try to get an order out. And now that we look back at it, we're like, man, dude, we could feed 140 people in an hour, where we went on our last event, in 2 hours. But when we first started, and it took that very, very first order, it took us an hour to give out that first order. We're like, man, we look back and we go, dude, it's crazy to see how much we moved from that very first day. We look at each other, we talk about it, we laugh at that. We laugh at that situation. We go, but that day we cried and we wanted to give up, but we told each other, we can't give up. We can't go. We're here already.
Yeah.
Our first day is not going to be how it's going to be decided. It's not going to be the definition of how it's going to go. We didn't let it be. And now it's a lot different than what it was at that day.
Yeah. Good thing we had only friends and family, because I told them, you know what? I will give you your money back. I don't want to do this anymore. And everything is closed now. Okay, you guys can go home. But after them, there were new customers. So I couldn't give up that day.
We had to keep going.
Oh man!
She said, "I'll
want your money back."
I don't care.
Yeah.
Just get out of my face. I don't
Yeah,
want to.
yeah, something like that.
Exactly.
I'll give you your money back.
Dude, we thought we had everything organized. We thought we had everything in the right place. By the time we looked inside, man, we had pots and pans everywhere. Everything was in the way. The funny thing about it too, though, was we have a trash can bin or compartment inside the food truck. They didn't even know it existed.
No.
They were collecting. They grabbed a trash bag and they started throwing trash inside the trash bag. They moved it around and it was in the way. It was getting in the way. We were kicking it around and moving stuff, and we couldn't figure it out. And I was like, "What are you guys doing?" They're like, the trash is in the way. I'm like, "But there's a trash can right here. There's a trash bin." They didn't even know. They were like, I don't know what's going on.
No,
Yeah, that sounds crazy. First time.
All business, entrepreneurial, life, just trying to figure out how to get things in order for you to be able to even conduct business. It's awesome, because starting a business is amazing. What you run into. One of my questions was, do you make tamales? Because it's that time we eat it. Holidays is tamale time. And I know it's a lot of work.
Just for us, for the family. Well, you're invited.
You know what? I'm in the process of learning how to make tamales, and I know it's going to take me 2 weeks to even get a tamale to be rolled up with the masa and everything. I'm going to try, because I can eat tamales year round. It doesn't have to. I know it's a big family project. Everybody's got their part into it. So people only do it during the holidays. And then one of the other questions I have for you is, what do you say to the people that are out there that's trying to start a business, and to our youth? We got a lot of kids out there that are just, running around with their phone in their hand and have no way of thinking about their potential. What can you say to those people out there? And then, give us your idea on that.
No se rindan, tienen que dar lo mejor de ustedes. Definitivamente esto no es fácil. Si fuera fácil, yo creo que ya todos lo estarían haciendo, tienen que tener en mente de que va a tomar mucho tiempo para lograr algo bueno. Nosotros estamos empezando, definitivamente creo que apenas estamos así de un camino muy, muy largo que hay que recorrer. Si tienen sus sueños, tienen que luchar por ellos, porque nadie más va a venir a luchar por los sueños que tienes tú. Entonces, no todo es color de rosa, no todo es fácil, pero si quieres algo tienes que trabajar muy, muy duro para lograrlo. Nosotros también en esas estamos todavía, porque nos falta mucho por recorrer, mucho por lograr, mucho más por aprender. Apenas estamos empezando, como mencioné. Y si queremos que esto siga creciendo, pues tenemos que echarle ganas, echarle ganas. Y yo creo que algo que nos, como les decíamos en un principio, algo que nos motiva es la gente, porque, híjole, de verdad que si no fuera por ellos, pues ya los chilaquiles ya no existieran. No es fácil, también digo, tenemos que estar dándoles una energía positiva también, pero tienen que trabajar en su proyecto, tienen que encontrar el modo de lograrlo.
Keep going. Find something that I feel, that's going to get you happiness, something that's going to give you that peace of mind. For all the youth that are out there that are, stuck on with their phone just right there, you got to find something, right? There's got to be something that you're looking at, something that's going to be calling you. And whatever you find it and whatever you feel that you're going to do it, just you got to work hard. You got to make sure you got to have that very clear. You got to work hard. It's going to be that long time, that that repetitiveness where you're going to have to do something that you hate for the very beginning, right? You're going to hate it because you're going to find yourself in a different place, and you got to keep going. After that, you just got to work for it and it'll come easy. It'll come little by little after that. It'll just be a little easier. It might not be, at the very beginning, but you have to do a little bit of homework too. To look at what you're going to be doing, try to study for it, try to do what you're going to do and push, man. Find the right type of people. Find the people that are going to be able to tell you, hey, you got it. Hey, you're doing good. Keep going, man. Don't give up now. Or don't stop doing whatever's going to make you happy. That's something that you need to always have. You always need to have that support group, that group of people that's going to help you be better every day, that's going to push you and say, hey, this can be better like this, or hey, you got to keep going because you're going to be in a much better place. And you need to hear it, and you got to find that. You definitely do. It's very important for you to have your tight circle like that.
I think that's awesome, man, and we appreciate you telling the youth that, because the program here is designed to help everybody, not just the business owner. So my last question before we go into the last closing is your mental health. I'd like to know, how do you balance that? How do you balance staying mentally strong in a position of business and being, working, and and really all the people that you have to deal with? How are you both dealing with your mental health in that way?
It's definitely hard, man. The mental health is definitely bouncing back and forth, but you have to find, a balance between everything. Like we do, we try to find a balance, like especially on the days that we have off, we need that time off. You gotta give your brain a rest, man. You gotta be able to disconnect from everything, from whatever it might be, whatever it's taking you, draining you so much. Whether it be, sometimes it might be you're being stuck too many hours in there. You got to take that break, take that hour, take those 15 minutes, walk away, man. Being able to talk to somebody and tell somebody what it is that you're feeling. What's going on? What are you doing? What's happening in your head? What are those thoughts that are going in your head? It can be very difficult, It might be that you just need to go outside and scream, let it out, let that steam out, let out whatever is bothering you. Maybe you need to regroup and, find another way to approach an employee or a different, situation, whatever it might be. But it definitely is something that's difficult, and it'll get to you very, very quickly.
I'd like to thank you guys so much, man, for coming on the show. I'd like you to take this moment right here and tell everybody out there something we may have not asked you, how to get a hold of you. Tell them, anything that you would like to portray to them, both of you.
Well, you can find us always at that same place, right? So we have our spot where you can find us. You can reach us out on our Instagram pages. You can reach us out now at KF&JF's podcast. You can see us right there now. We're right here. We're supporting. You can call us. We have our phone number. We have, our social medias and stuff. But more than anything, we try to have that word of mouth, try to have that, people will say, you want a good breakfast, you want some good chilaquiles, good torta, good burrito, somebody would be able to, to direct you our way.
I want the missus to say something as well. You said it all, but I know she has some last words as well. Let's get her last words out there to everybody, even if she has to tell them, she feels better now. You guys can come and eat the food. She's not willing to throw you guys away no more. She loves you. Go for it.
Bueno, pues vengan a visitarnos porque de verdad que tenemos mucha cultura por compartir con ustedes. Les estamos ofreciendo el auténtico sabor de la Ciudad de México. Yo soy de Toluca, pero es lo mismo, lo mismo. Los pambazos, los chilaquiles, taquitos dorados, traigo el sazón de allá definitivamente. Y no nada más van a encontrar comida con nosotros. Con nosotros pueden platicar de lo que ustedes quieran también. Tenemos clientes que a veces vienen y nos platican cosas que traen cargando, definitivamente. No nada más es una historia de comida, ya son historias a veces personales. Nos platican muchas cosas y vamos creando amistades y lazos con la gente. Entonces, no nada más vendemos comida, sino también estamos ahí para escucharlos. Definitivamente no todo siempre son sonrisas, ¿verdad? También como pareja se tienen pues problemas, pero igual todo eso se tiene que superar y sacamos lo que es el negocio adelante. Pero si quieren probar unos buenos y deliciosos chilaquiles, nos encuentran de miércoles a domingo, miércoles y jueves desde las 7 de la mañana hasta las 3 de la tarde, viernes, sábado y domingo de 9 a 7 de la noche, ahí nos encuentran. A un ladito de la Target, frente al Tyler Mall, a un ladito del Freeway 91.
I really do appreciate everything, man. KF&JF podcast is so thankful that you guys took the time to come on and, talk to us about your business, about all of these different things, Mr. Joe and Miss Kenya, we really do appreciate everything. There's a couple of things that I like to say directly to both of you guys. Thanks. And you know what? Your business is definitely going to succeed. And here on the podcast, we want to be a part of that. We want you to come back. We want you to show us all of the success that you're doing so we can continue to broadcast that and let everybody know that, this is something they can do too. So we appreciate you guys so much. And thank you for coming on the KF&JF podcast. So, appreciate you.
You're officially on the move with KF&JF podcast.
And you literally are on the move.
Thank you guys. It's a pleasure being here. You guys are both awesome. You guys are cool. You guys are, very welcome to come down and try our food. We would love it. We would love to see you guys down here, give us a chance to show you what we got. It's definitely something. We got a little something for everybody.